Welcome to BL Stories, where romance, drama, and unforgettable boys' love come to life. Love knows no limits, and the best stories aren't always straight. Subscribe now and join our growing BL-loving family. Alexander Hamilton, POV. Have you tried turning it off and back on again? Derek blinked at me, surprised. You guys actually say that? He asked, half laughing. I tightened my grip on his computer mouse. Okay, maybe more than just a little bit. Yes, Derek. Yes, we do. And the fact that I'm up here on the third floor fixing your computer again because you somehow caught another virus from one of those websites is really starting to test my patience. In my defense, Derek began. No, I cut him off in a firm whisper. You don't get a defense for visiting inappropriate websites on a company device. He frowned at my scolding, clearly unbothered. You're not as cute when you're angry. That's because I'm not here to be cute. I'm here to protect this company's confidential data. I paused, trying to calm myself, and to remind myself that strangling Derek wouldn't look good in court. Now tell me, how am I supposed to do that when employees like you keep ignoring the company's security protocols? And honestly, how are you even accessing blocked websites? I must have said that part a little louder than intended because Joan, our receptionist, had just returned from the break room and burst into laughter the second she overheard. She doubled over, laughing so hard I worried she might actually fall. Derek, seriously? You couldn't wait until you got home? Joan wheezed between giggles. Her laugh was contagious. I cracked a smile. It was the first time I'd actually seen someone literally slap their knee laughing, but that was Joan for you. God, I loved her. Hey. I thought this was a judgment-free zone. Derek called out. He gave me a pleading look, hoping I'd back him up. I gave him one that said, "Are you serious right now?" Once Joan could breathe again, she jumped right back into our usual gossip cycle. Did you hear about Janice on the 5th floor? Fired. Just like that. I raised an eyebrow. Wait, wasn't it like her second week? Yep. Makes her the 23rd assistant this year. I swear the guy's on a whole other level. Could you guys keep it down? Derek muttered. He's probably listening. Feels like he always is. I don't know how you do it, Alex, Joan added, quieter now. Do what? Just not care about him. I chuckled. Simple. He stays out of my way and I stay out of his. Honestly, I've never even had to answer an IT call from the 5th floor. The only reason I even know what the guy looks like is because his face is plastered on every wall. We all looked up at the massive portrait on the far wall near the elevator. Christian Ivonov. The man, the myth, the very full of himself legend. He probably just replaces things the second they stop working. Everything is disposable to people like him, Joan muttered. You two are going to get us fired, Derek said as he logged back in. I, for one, enjoy having a job. I stood up, packing my tools. Time to head back to my floor. The same floor. I gave Joan a wink. We still good for drinks at 6? Let's make it 7. I need to finish testing some new devices. Sounds good, hon. Hang in there. And don't worry, I'll make sure Derek behaves. I grinned. A few coworkers nearby chuckled too. If they didn't know about Derek's little browsing habit before, they definitely did now. Christian Ivonov, POV. That's unacceptable. They can't back out of the deal now. Breathe, Christian. Don't lose it. Brad, my right-hand guy, didn't look amused. You told their negotiator to straighten out his life, that he was as useful as an ashtray on a bicycle, and then you spent 10 minutes criticizing his outfit, comparing their entire company to one-ply toilet paper. In your own words, unreliable. I gripped the armrests of my chair so tightly, I thought I might break them. I'd messed up. Big time. You can't explode every time something goes south, Brad said calmly. The company's already paying the price for your temper. You're not irreplaceable, Brad, I snapped without thinking. His brows lifted slightly. I sighed and softened. Sorry, man. I didn't mean that. This whole thing's just getting to me. I ran my fingers through my already messy hair. Before he could respond, a woman burst into the office, clearly flustered. "What in the—" I started, but she blurted out. "Mr. Larrington's on the line for you." Then she disappeared as fast as she'd arrived. I had questions, like who was that woman? And where was my actual assistant? But those could wait. I grabbed the phone so quickly, I knocked over my coffee, sending it straight across my laptop. "Seriously?" Brad muttered. I waved him off as I put the phone to my ear. "This is Ivonov." "Hello, Mr. Ivonov. This is Mr. Harris, Larrington's assistant. He's in a meeting and can't speak directly. I've been asked to inform you that, despite receiving your messages, all 27 of them, we are standing by our original decision to decline the deal. Thank you, and please refrain from contacting us further. Have a nice day." I sat frozen for a second. Then I felt the familiar burn of frustration boiling in my chest. "Christian," Brad warned quietly. "Too late. I lost it. That coward. He didn't even have the decency to call himself? He sent his assistant? Unbelievable." I slammed the phone down hard enough to knock it off the desk. Then I shoved the coffee-soaked laptop off the table, picked it up, slammed it down again, and stomped on it. Repeatedly. Brad had to physically pull me away. "Calm down, Christian." That wasn't even a coherent meltdown. Once the red haze cleared, I stared at the wrecked laptop. "Did you back up the files?" Brad asked with a sigh, too familiar with my tantrums. I rubbed my temples as realization hit me. "No. There were important documents on there. Don't worry. I'll have our IT guy look at it." I blinked. "We have an IT guy?" Brad stared like I'd grown another head. "You do realize this is a corporation, right? Not a coffee shop. Of course we have an IT department." I shot him a look that said don't push it. He raised both hands in surrender. "Alex, POV. I checked my watch. Then I checked it again. And again. It was 6:28 p.m. 2 minutes until I was officially off the clock. Thank goodness, because I was beyond ready to get out of here. Jessie from the second floor had called earlier about a tech emergency. Turned out her computer wasn't broken, it was just turned off. But instead of letting me go, she spent the next 3 hours introducing me to the story of all 17 of her cats. 17. I glanced down at my watch once more. 6:29 p.m. So close. Just as I reached for my messenger bag, the office phone rang. Stay calm. Maybe it's nothing urgent. Who was I kidding? A call to the IT desk was never good news. No one calls tech support just to chat. "Yes." I answered. "Good, you're still here. I wasn't planning on it. We need you on the 5th floor. Now." "Sir, it's AC." He hung up before I could even finish. "Fantastic. Did he say the 5th floor?" By the time I arrived, I was greeted by a sharply dressed man who guided me to a part of the floor I didn't even know existed. Apparently, there were wings up here? Actual wings? Where was all this space on the other floors? I was about to file a formal complaint to see the building's floor plan. "Mister," the man said flatly when we stopped at a sleek corridor. He looked like he belonged in a luxury watch ad. "Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton. Most people just call me Alex," I offered. "Yes. I won't be doing that. Mr. Hamilton, I need you to examine a laptop that requires immediate repair." "Repair?" I echoed. "Yes. Repair. Oops, must have said that out loud. Are you sure? I've never been called up here before for anything. Ever. It's a sensitive matter. One we'd prefer to keep private." I stared at him for a moment, trying to decode that cryptic response, but ultimately just nodded. The sooner I got this over with, the sooner I could head home. "Lead the way," I sighed. He guided me to a large set of doors at the end of the hallway. The moment they opened, my jaw dropped. This office. This ridiculously oversized office. I'm not exaggerating when I say my entire apartment could probably fit in here, twice. "The laptop's on the desk," the man said. "There's a mini fridge under there too. Help yourself to some water. You might be here a while." "Wait, what do you mean?" I turned to ask, but he had vanished. "What the—" I muttered. I walked up to the desk and my jaw dropped again. The laptop, if you could still call it that, Looked like it had barely survived a demolition derby. "What happened to you?" I whispered, surveying the cracked frame and missing keys. I tried to lift it. 3 keys fell off. No way. There was no way. This wasn't just broken. It was obliterated. There was absolutely no realistic way I could fix this. My phone buzzed in my pocket. "Joan." "Hey, Joan," I answered. "Hey, you off yet?" "We just got to the bar," she shouted over loud music. Sounded like the Tully's jukebox was in full swing. "You wouldn't believe where I am right now." "Speak up, babe. I can barely hear you." I said, "I'm in Christian Ivanov's office right now." "You're where?" "Christian Ivanov's office." "I heard you. What are you even doing in there?" "I have no idea. Someone asked me to take a look at his laptop. I thought it'd be something simple, but Joan, this thing is destroyed. It looks like someone put it through a wood chipper." Joan laughed her signature, wheezing laugh. "That's wild. He does know you can't fix that by tonight, right? Let's just say, some people with money sometimes lose touch with common sense," I muttered. That made her laugh even louder. In the background, I could hear Derek yelling something about taking shots. I was so focused on the call that I barely noticed someone clearing their throat by the door. I turned, and my breath caught. Blue eyes. Familiar blue eyes. The kind that don't just look at you, they read you. The phone slipped from my fingers and landed softly on the desk. "You must be the IT guy," he said. "Christian Ivanov." His voice was deep, borderline intimidating. I couldn't speak. I was frozen. "I assume you're here to fix this laptop?" he asked, motioning toward the mess on the desk. My legs felt like jelly. "Why, yes. Is it fixable?" His eyes locked onto mine, intense and calculating. Definitely not like the man in the portrait. This version of Ivanov was far more unsettling. "It's way too damaged. Honestly, it'd be more cost-effective to just get a new one." He studied me. I couldn't tell if he was amused or about to fire me. Then he stepped away from the door frame and walked closer. "It looks fixable to me." If my face wasn't already panicked, it sure was now. I really don't think. "Looks like it went through a wood chipper, huh?" I blinked. My eyes widened. He heard that. "I take time to recover any files or data." "Good thing you're on my company's payroll then, isn't it?" he replied, calm and unbothered. All I could do was nod. Because honestly, what else could I do? "Alex, POV. You've got to be kidding me." "I'm serious, Joan. I'm so getting fired," I groaned, taking another shot. By now, I'd lost count, probably 4 or 5 shots in. We were at Tully's, and although it was long past official closing time, Joan's brother owned the place, so we weren't in any rush to leave. "This is intense," Derek muttered, ordering another round. I had finally shown up close to midnight. The day had been long, strange, and utterly draining. Well, here's to Alex maybe having to look for a new IT job after attempting to resurrect one very broken laptop. Joan toasted, raising her glass. Another round of shots disappeared. The room was blurring a little or maybe doubling. Hard to tell anymore. All I remember saying before things faded was that they might need to carry me out by the end of the night. Christian, POV. When I finally collapsed into bed, a wave of calm washed over me. I grabbed my second laptop from the charger on my nightstand. Something compelled me to check the security camera feeds from the office. Maybe curiosity, maybe instinct. My thoughts drifted back to earlier that evening. It was only when I reached the lobby that I realized I'd left my key card upstairs. Annoyed, I took the elevator back to the 5th floor. That's when I heard voices coming from my office. I can't even explain it. "Some guy brought me in to look at Christian Ivanov's laptop," said a voice. "Christian Ivanov, huh?" The way he said my name sounded irritated. Entitled, almost. At first, I'm thinking, okay, no big deal. But this thing's a disaster, Joan. Like someone ran it through a wood chipper. I paused at the door, surprised. Sitting in my chair was someone I'd never seen before, young, probably mid-20s, glasses nearly too big for his face, yet somehow framing his sharp features well. He looked exhausted. I think it's hard for wealthy people to understand how far removed they are from everyday logic, he added. That was about enough. I cleared my throat. He jumped, startled. His eyes darted up to mine with a look that was equal parts panic and guilt, like he'd been caught sneaking a cookie before dinner. The phone slipped from his hand. You must be the IT guy, I said, keeping my tone calm. Yes, he stammered. His earlier confidence was gone, replaced by something unsure and nervous. You're here to fix this laptop? Weiss, he croaked again. Is it fixable? He looked like he was about to pass out. He hesitated, then shook his head. No, it's too damaged. It would be more efficient to just replace it. I stepped forward. It looks fixable to me. His eyes widened. He looked like I'd just asked him to rebuild a spaceship. I mentioned the woodchipper comment. He went pale. It'll take time to gather all the parts, he finally offered. Well, I replied, it's a good thing you're on the company payroll, then, isn't it? His face flickered, something between annoyance and disbelief. Later, after he left, I rewound the security footage from my laptop. No audio, but judging by his face, he was definitely venting again. Still, I watched him begin placing orders for parts and gently dismantling what was left of the device. I told myself I was keeping an eye on him to make sure he didn't tamper with anything. Truthfully, I wasn't sure why I kept watching. And I wasn't sure why I hadn't fired him yet. Alex, POV. Oh no, I groaned as the morning light stabbed at my already aching head. I blinked against the brightness, completely disoriented. Turns out I wasn't in bed. I had crashed on the beanbag in my living room. Honestly, making it home at all was a miracle. There were some mornings when I'd woken up in parks, or subway stations, or once, somehow, in Louisiana. Don't ask. I reached around blindly for my phone. Nothing. No idea where it was. Great, I muttered. Then I glanced at the microwave clock and nearly fell backward into the dining table. 10:43 a.m. I was supposed to pick up the replacement parts at 8:15 sharp. Panic hit me full force. I could try to come up with a solid excuse, but it's not like Christian Ivonov himself would be hovering over the repairs, right? I clenched my jaw. Who was I kidding? I had no time to find my phone. If I didn't leave now, I might as well not show up at all. Wow, you're late, Joan said as soon as I stepped onto the third floor. Unfortunately, that's where we had to badge in. What even happened last night? I moaned. My head was pounding. You were gone, Derek chimed in, laughing. You tried juggling whiskey glasses and broke all of them. That's when Tully said it was time to get you out of there. No, Joan added. It was when you tried making out with the Rosie the Riveter poster next to the jukebox. I groaned and buried my face in my hands. Please text Tully and apologize for me and my lack of alcohol tolerance, I muttered. I'll just send him a photo of how awful you look, Joan teased. That should do the trick. She wasn't wrong. I looked like I'd lost a fight with a trash can. My hair was a disaster, my clothes barely matched, and I almost forgot pants on my way out. Today was not going to be my day. This whole thing with the laptop? Total nightmare. And of course, Mr. Ivonov wants it fixed yesterday. Joan and Derek exchanged a look. You might want to just not speak today, Derek advised. I'm hungover. I have to fix a laptop for someone who might actually be the devil. I'm just trying to survive, I said, dragging myself toward the elevator. You're late, said the same man who had called me just before I clocked out the night before. I couldn't find my keys, I blurted. For 2 hours? Yeah, not my finest excuse. He raised an eyebrow. You were looking for your keys? For 2 hours? Micromanaging much? Excuse me, he said, and I immediately realized I had said that out loud. Nothing. Sorry. I'll get right on it, I mumbled, sighing as the pounding in my skull got worse. He left without another word. I opened the bottom drawer where I'd stashed the destroyed laptop, and instantly, my stomach dropped all over again. This thing wasn't just broken, it was obliterated. Christian's POV. I'm thinking we approach Maverick Corp about potential long-term investments. We offer the same deal but include added compensation, maybe a portion of our proceeds from the next gala and free promotion of their new fitness product line at our gyms, Brad suggested. He sat across from me, relaxed in the office chair while I remained behind my desk, cluttered with contracts and paperwork. Brad had been working hard to salvage the millions we were at risk of losing with Larrington. I was barely listening. With how little you're contributing lately, this company is going to end up in real trouble, Brad finally snapped, catching me sneaking a text under the desk. I sighed. Sorry, man. Something's been on my mind. What's going on? He asked. I just shrugged. Putting it into words wasn't easy. Okay, hypothetically speaking, what would you do if you overheard an employee saying some very unkind things about you and the company? Brad raised a brow. Someone said something about you and they're still employed? Hypothetically. Very hypothetically, I said, raising my hands in mock surrender. He rolled his eyes. Well, it depends on the person. If they're a valuable asset, I'd have a direct conversation. If they're not, I probably wouldn't lose sleep over it. I mean, I wouldn't be too bothered by, say, a janitor venting about upper management. He wasn't a janitor, I thought, biting the inside of my cheek. After a moment, I nodded thoughtfully. You're unusually reflective about this. Usually you're the act now, think never type. Brad teased like the words were foreign in his mouth. Exactly. That's what's bugging me. Why do I care so much this time? Anyone else would have been let go immediately. Brad gave me a knowing look. Maybe you're just not used to hearing criticism. You don't exactly surround yourself with people who challenge you. I have you. I'm your brother. That hardly counts. I tensed at that reminder. You're saying that more openly than you should. Let's not forget what could happen if people found out, I warned. I never thought I'd hear you say the word consequences, Brad chuckled. I gave him a stern look. If there was one thing I cared about more than anything, it was family and protecting it. Seriously, Brad, if that information ever got out. It won't, he cut in, and just like that, we dropped the subject. I pulled my laptop closer to review employee files. Alexander Hamilton. Strange name. Wasn't that a founding father or something? His profile picture looked a bit younger, making me wonder how long he'd worked here. A few scrolls later, I had my answer. He's been here for 3 years? I muttered, stunned. How had I never seen him before? You only met the front desk receptionist last week, when she accidentally let Bridget in, Brad reminded me. I laughed sheepishly. He was right. I barely knew anyone who worked for me. Until now, that never bothered me. Let's not bring up Bridget. I was in a decent mood until you mentioned her. Then just break up with her. No one's forcing you two to be together except Mom. She thinks I'll end up alone. We all think that, Brad deadpanned. I swatted his arm. I'm just particular about who I want to spend my life with. Brad gave me a look. I think we're overlooking the fact that every woman you've dated left you. Bridget's just the one willing to put up with your mood swings for a payout. He wasn't wrong. Bridget drove me crazy, but a shopping spree usually smoothed things over. Luckily, she was off to Paris Fashion Week and wouldn't be back for a while. I need a favor. What now? Can you get Alex in here before the end of the day? Brad blinked at me like I'd grown 2 heads. It's amazing how I spent 8 years in law school, and I somehow ended up managing your personal calendar. I'm not your assistant, Christian. I smirked. But you're really good at it. Alex's POV. It was almost the end of my shift, and honestly, I couldn't wait to leave. Joan had been a lifesaver today, helping me nurse what remained of my hangover. She even patted my back supportively while I was stuck in the break room earlier, feeling miserable. That, unfortunately, happened more than once today. Right on schedule, at 5:50 p.m., I had everything packed up and ready to go. Today had been slow, thanks to Derek. He sent a mass email across all floors, basically saying, yes, we fixed tech problems, but not today, in a tone that felt like something straight out of The Lord of the Rings. It was kind of impressive, honestly. My desk phone only rang twice, once for a ticket update and once from Joan checking on me. The rest of the day had been spent quietly working on a laptop and trying to survive. So, when my desk phone rang just as I was putting on my bag and grabbing my phone, you can imagine how reluctant I was to answer. Hello, I said into the receiver. Hello, replied a very familiar voice. Alex, POV. What on earth was happening right now? Why was I still here, on the 5th floor, long past the end of my shift, waiting for Christian Ivonov to show up for a meeting that he had apparently scheduled last minute? My stomach twisted, though not just from nerves. It was a toss-up between anxiety about the meeting and the remnants of a rough hangover that still had its claws in me. "You don't look too good," the man next to me observed. He was the same guy who had brought me up here last time. Still didn't know his name, and honestly, right now, I didn't have the energy to care. "I'm hungover," I muttered, barely keeping my head up. His expression shifted slightly, maybe pity, maybe concern. Either way, it didn't calm the storm inside me. Was I about to get fired? I hadn't exactly accomplished much with the laptop today, but surely he'd give me a few more days? "Alexander," came a familiar voice as Christian finally walked through the office doors and took his seat behind the desk. He was dressed a bit more casually than last time. A crisp button-down, sleeves rolled, collar relaxed. His hair, though, looked like he'd been running his hands through it for hours. Somehow, the disheveled look only made him appear more effortlessly put together. I, on the other hand, looked like I'd just crawled out of a tornado. He gave me a brief nod. "You're probably wondering why I called you up here." I exhaled. "Sure," I said, trying to sound professional. My tone was strained though, and I knew it. He raised an eyebrow, picking up on my mood. "Well, it was suggested to me that I speak to you directly about how you view the way things are run around here. Brad mentioned something about how a healthy work environment leads to a healthier business. So, I'm curious. What are your thoughts? Was this real? Did Christian Ivonov actually want my opinion? He just sat there, calm, waiting. Watching. I started, my voice cracking. I cleared my throat and tried again. The workload is kind of inconsistent for the reps. Whenever a deal falls through, we usually get stuck dealing with the consequences. Also, the overtime policies could use some structure. I think mandatory overtime should pay double, and voluntary should at least be time and a half." I stopped. I didn't know how he was going to react. His face gave little away, but I could tell I had his full attention. And that made it harder to continue. But he nodded once. "Go on," he said, voice calm but firm. I swallowed hard. "Dave, from the 2nd floor, has been here 25 years. But when he requested extra vacation time, he was denied, right around the same time the company lost the Winchester deal. Things like that matter. It would help morale if employees were at least looped in when major deals fall apart. Otherwise, we're just being handed more work without context or support. And it's not a great image to see the CEO walking around without an assistant. This company isn't just about you. You depend on us for support, and we depend on you to build relationships and close deals. It's a two-way street." I said the whole thing in one breath. Then I waited, bracing myself. Christian leaned back in his chair, arms folded. His presence was so commanding I forgot how to breathe for a second. "So, what I'm hearing is, you think I mistreat my employees and I'm failing SEO?" "I'm sure that's not what the kid meant." The man next to me tried to cut in, but Christian raised his hand, silencing him. Somehow, despite all good sense, I nodded. "I'm saying, you could be doing more to support the people who make this company run. If I wasn't getting fired before, I was definitely getting fired now." After a long pause, Christian finally spoke again. "You make around $49,000 a year right now, correct?" I nodded. My heart was pounding. My headache was back in full force. "What would you say to $68,000 a year?" I choked mid-sip of my water, spraying a bit onto his desk. Sorry, what?" "A raise," he said simply. I blinked. "I don't understand." "You'd still be doing your current IT responsibilities, but I'd also be hiring you as a temporary assistant, until Brad here can find a permanent one. I've looked over your file. You've had experience in sales and management before moving into tech. I think this could work, for both of us." Brad shot him a look. "Just to remind you again, Christian, I'm your lawyer, not your HR department." The familiarity between them caught me off guard. In 3 years at this company, I'd never seen anyone speak to Christian like that, definitely not to his face. So, these two were closer than I thought. And apparently, his name was Brad. I'm not really cut out to be anyone's assistant, I admitted honestly. I didn't exactly see myself managing Christian Ivanov's schedule or fetching him coffee. For all I knew, he spent his weekends skydiving into volcanoes. This offer's only on the table tonight, Christian replied. Take it, and you'll earn almost double the average starting pay for someone in your position. You'd also be helping restructure this company from the inside. Or you can walk out right now, back to your regular salary, and keep doing what you've been doing. In that moment, I understood how Christian Ivanov had built this company. He knew how to pitch an offer. And something about the intensity in his eyes made my pulse quicken. I stared at him like he had just grown 3 extra heads. He was serious? I glanced at Brad. He's totally serious, Brad confirmed, deadpan. I thought about the mess of the past few days, and then I thought about the money, about my family, about how much we needed this. I gave my answer. And just like that, I sealed a deal with the devil himself. Would I regret this in a few months? Or maybe in just a few hours? Very likely. Was this a risk worth taking? Probably not. Was I going to do it anyway? Unfortunately, yes. Thanks for listening to today's BL story. If it made your heart skip a beat, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Only here on BL Stories, where love knows no limits.